Hi, I'm Annemarie with Speak Confident English, and welcome to your Confident English Wednesday lesson. Now, most weeks we do focus on skills that are essential for speaking English with confidence and fluency. But this week we're going to shift our focus a little bit and work on writing, specifically writing emails and how to close or finish an email. Now, just a quick note, if emailing is something very useful to you in your English skills, maybe you email often in English at work, I do have several other lessons on the topic of emails, such as 7 rules for professional emails and how to avoid other common mistakes. And you can find all of those lessons. I'll include links to those other lessons below this video. But let's focus today on the right and wrong way to close an email. This is the final impression someone will have of you, and there are definitely right and wrong ways to do it. And we'll look at 2 situations that are more business, professional, or formal, and some more casual, very friendly ways to end an email. Now, 2 quick rules about emails. 1, always use a closing. Always. It is considered unprofessional, maybe even rude if you don't include a closing. If it's your mom, if it's your best friend who's an English speaker, or someone that you email multiple times a day, then maybe you could avoid using a closing. But in every other email, you want to look professional, you want to look friendly, so use a closing. And the second rule is your closing should match the formality of the email. If you're writing a business email to a new client, you should use a closing that is appropriate for a business email. And if you're writing to your new English-speaking neighbor, then you can use a more casual closing. Let's imagine a more formal situation first. Perhaps you are sending an email to arrange a date and a time for a job interview, or you are going to meet a brand new client. It is a business professional email. Here are a few great ways to end that email. Kind regards, always professional, very friendly. Regards, short, direct, but still appropriate. Warm regards, again, very friendly, but honestly, this one is maybe best used when you already know the person. It's still a formal email, it's a formal business contact, but you've already met them before. And finally, sincerely. This one sometimes for people feels a little bit too formal. It's more common in a business letter, but if you're writing to a total stranger, for example, you're writing about a job interview, it's okay to be really formal, even in an email, and sincerely could be appropriate. Now, if you're sending an email to someone for work who you know well, you've met them several times, but it's still a work email, we don't need to be so formal. We can be a little bit more casual, but we still want to be professional as well. So here are a few examples. Best or best regards. Again, we could use warm regards. This is someone you already know. Or even cheers. Now, this one is interesting because it's more common among British English speakers or Australian English speakers. To be honest, I never use this closing. It's not natural to me, but it is to many English speakers. So if it feels natural to you, then feel free to use it. And finally, if it's Friday and you're writing to the people you know in your office, end your email with, "Have a great weekend." Everyone loves to be reminded that the weekend is almost here, so you could use that as well. Those are all fantastic ways to end an email that sounds professional and friendly. But now let's look at some examples that are not correct. These are examples that you should avoid using in your emails. To be really honest, they're just not appropriate for professional situations. yours truly or yours faithfully. This just feels too personal or too intimate. Have a blessed day. With this word blessed, it has a little bit of a religious feeling to it. And again, religion is not appropriate for a business professional situation, so it is best to avoid this closing. Thanks or regards, when you spell it as an abbreviation, as I have here, not appropriate. We don't abbreviate closings in professional emails. So you might be wondering, do I really need to use a closing every time I send an email? Most of the time, yes. But there's one exception. Imagine that you're at work and you send an email to the same person every day, and maybe you've sent them an email and now it is a chain email. A chain email is when there are many different responses on the same email. Maybe you asked a question, someone responded, then you gave your response, they asked another question, and it just continued. And now there are 20 emails inside this one email. That's a chain email. Okay. After the first few emails, you can start to stop using a closing. Honestly, that's okay. It gets a little bit too much, to be honest. But that's really the only exception. Again, the goal is to look professional all the time, and a closing in your email will help you do that. And that is it. You now have all the examples that you need for professional, friendly closings in an email, and some examples that you should avoid. So now I'd like to hear from you. If you email in English regularly, either just for fun with your personal contacts or professionally, what continues to be the most challenging for you? I know that it can be stressful, frustrating. It takes time to think about the right things to say. So what is the most challenging for you? I'd love to hear your thoughts and your comments. And as always, you can share with me in the comment section just below this video. I do read and respond to every comment, so feel free to let me know what is challenging or frustrating for you when it comes to emails in English. And with that, have a fantastic week. Enjoy your Wednesday, and I will see you next week for your Confident English lesson.